Hey guys, welcome back to Xcom Enemy Within. We're still at the beginning, so no big deal. Just we crashed down a UFO here, so we're investigating it now. Well, okay.
I want to take kind of the 30,000-foot strategic view of what just played out. And I get it. I agree that this is part of that secularist movement of the liberal progressives, the left in Biden's play. But if you look at the events that began really about last Thursday to where we are today, the proclamation of Transgender Day of Visibility, the celebration of Cesar Chavez Day, which was proclaimed in 2013 in a similar fashion, what you're seeing is a master class in gaslighting for the response. Think about it.
Santa.
1.6 million Americans who self-identify as trans. However, 67% of 30 million people identify as Christian in America. And if you take from that the number of people who celebrate Easter, shall we say more openly, it's about 37%. That's 122 million. So who are they playing to? They're actually playing this for their base, for the reaction, and I think we need to put context together. It's true that they've had this attack. These are the same people that go after kids, saying you can't put a religious symbol on an Easter egg in an art contest, but yet they will glorify the Virgin Mary being dipped in urine. It's not about art. It is about their attack to secularize, to demonize, to, again, take us apart as Americans and have us at each other's throats. I think when we do that, we take away their power to overly influence people. I think that's the context that helps us do that.
Well, obviously I agree with all of this, but for someone who is, I'm a gay woman, for the part of the audience that might not know this yet, what is problematic, and we also for Caitlyn Jenner's response to this, is that it was obscene. You get tired of being somebody's fetish. You get tired of being the pawn to be used to divide. So I agree with David in this regard. This has nothing to do with transgenders. As a matter of fact, they're being used. They're being used to divide Americans. It's like you walk into a bar and scream something about someone's mom. You're looking for a fight, and they're looking for a fight. They want you talking about this instead of the border, instead of the economy, instead of crime that is increasing. They want you to look at other Americans as the problem. Well, none of us are the problem. That's their goal. And I would suggest certainly that transgenders are probably looking at this thinking, we don't need this. This does not help us. This does not help us. We like Easter too. This is an unforced error. It's unnecessary. And of course, it's the combination of things that have happened. It's the environment. It's what we notice has occurred. But again, I would argue that it is a convenient dividing line when you've got Americans who are Christian versus perhaps Jews, versus gays and lesbians, versus transgenders. Enough of this. We have families, we have lives we need to live. like the bar. We can't get it to them. So I think we're united in that regard, Steve.
Well, and I do think that a part of the conversation is, and I think much like the transgender community got caught in the storm, so did Muslim panels.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. He's flexing so he doesn't have to pick the Christians on that day. But that doesn't help their cause either, because what happens when they're not his fetish?
Yeah.
That's even hard to say. It feels so wrong because it is. We shouldn't be anybody's fetish. Not black people, not Hispanic people. We should just be American.
What do you know? What a concept. All right, guys, up next. Why a judge reportedly ordered the release of migrants seen in this viral, violent video.
Every American wants their dollars to work as hard as they do. However, since 2000, the bond
Fuck.
of the dollar has dropped by over 31%. That means a dollar is only worth about 68 cents now compared to 2000.
Fucking prick.
Your value would have increased over 650%. And only gold is easy. With Rosalind Capital, a trusted leader in helping people acquire precious metals. Gold bullion, Lady Liberty gold and silver proofs. And our premium coins can help you preserve your wealth. Call Rosalind Capital at 800-630-8900 to receive your free Rosalind Guide to Gold, Gold and Precious Metals IRA, and silver brochures. With Rosalind, there are no hassles, no gimmicks, and we have the fastest shipping around. Dollar down, gold up. Pretty clear. Make gold wonders stand. Call Rosalind Capital today at 800-630-8900. 800-630-8900. That's 800-630-8900. Hiding your fungus-damaged toenails? Get clear, healthy-looking toenails with Nodix Nail Clipper Fine Gel. In a clinical study, 90% of nails improve. For fungus-damaged toenails, find Nodix at Walgreens, Walmart, Rite Aid, and CVS.
You've got better things to do than clean out clogged gutters. Call Leaf Filter today. And never clean out clogged gutters again.
Leaf Filter technology keeps debris out of your gutters for good. Guaranteed. Call 833 Leaf Filter today or visit leaffilter.com. CIDP destroys.
CIDP derails.
Let's be honest.
CIDP sucks. But living with CIDP
Doesn't have to.
when you sign up at Shining through CIDP, you get information and relocation stories. Helpful tips, reliable information, and more.
CIDP.
Shit.
But finding
Fuck's sakes.
Sign up at shiningthroughCIDP.com.
be heard, be hopeful, be you.
It's only a matter of time until your check engine light comes on, or worse yet, your car needs repair. That could be the big surprise auto repair bill. Those repairs are more expensive than ever. A new engine can be over $5,000. A new transmission over $4,000. That's why it's so important you call CarShield today. CarShield is the #1 auto protection company in the country.
I like CarShield. They were reliable, they were affordable, and they were trustworthy.
I think everybody should have CarShield. Once your manufacturer's warranty is expired, there's just no big bill. You needed repairs, CarShield was there for it.
Now it's your turn to get the peace of mind that comes with having CarShield, so you can worry less about auto repairs. Call or go online right now to get CarShield for yourself. Friendly, knowledgeable, money-saving representatives are available 24 hours a day. So if your car is 20 years old or newer, just tell us the make and model of your car or truck and get an instant plan quote. In a matter of minutes, you can be covered.
I was elated that I had CarShield. More than happy.
Oh, shit.
Here's how CarShield works. When your car needs repair, you take it to your favorite mechanic or even your dealer, and CarShield gets them paid directly. That's why CarShield is America's #1 auto protection provider.
CarShield is just the best thing to take away the fear that something is going to go wrong with your car, because it will. And CarShield is going to be there to back you up.
My experience with CarShield is that they absolutely come through every time I need it.
If my car breaks down, I can count on CarShield to cover it for me. CarShield definitely has my back.
Now it's the time to make the smart choice and protect yourself from sky-high auto repair bills. Call now for a free and instant protection plan quote. It's only a matter of time until repairs are needed. And once your car breaks down, it's too late. Call 1-800-908-6039 or go to carshield.com. Get covered today.
To the litany of questions on this Easter Monday for the White House press secretary Karine to begin at any moment. Peter Ducey, our correspondent, will be inside that briefing with all of his tough questions. And there are a whole host of things that they'll be talking about, not the least of which is some of the polling that Emily mentioned this hour, where they are really, really struggling with the economy still and the messaging on whatever it is they're trying to sell. So we'll go to that live the moment it happens. Meanwhile, there are new developments in a frightening rush at the border caught on video. A Texas judge reportedly is letting several of those illegal border crossers that were charged with overrunning Texas National Guardsmen walk free. That judge blames the prosecuting district attorney, saying those illegal immigrants are not ready to proceed with the detention hearings. It's still not unclear if the judge's ruling applies only to those charged with participating in a riot and not to the ones facing assault or criminal mischief charges. Oh my goodness, the choices. None of them good. Hundreds were reportedly arrested after the incident, with more hearings set for later today. Emily, make it make sense.
I'm unable to. Even if I was a magician, a wizard, I would be unable to, and that's the saddest part. That no matter what, the tangled web that represents the immigration system, you add on to that the utter failures of the current criminal justice system, and then an administration that continues to add more regulations and more rules and more, declarations while totally denying the power they have, the executive power, and yet bringing to court anyone who tries to do it at the state level. Everything about this administration has created a backwards application. So what we are seeing there, the least surprising thing I have to admit was them all going free. That is the thing that surprises me the least.
Why can't we set them free by deporting them? They can be as free as they want. If they go back to Mexico, their entry point, and then Mexico probably would force them to go home to wherever their home countries are. Look, y'all can be free. You just can't do it here when you bum rush our border and try to cross illegally.
And Emily, I'm wondering if I'm right or wrong here, because sometimes I play a lawyer on radio. But if you cross the border the first time, it's a civil infraction. If you commit an assault, it's added to that civil infraction. Judicial discretion. If you commit an assault, you can rise to the level of a felony in Texas, especially by assaulting a uniformed personnel. So wouldn't it make sense that the judge's discretion could lead more to detention than to release?
Yeah, wobblers are at the state level, and also wobblers are what we call misdemeanors. That could be a felony. That's a state issue versus federal. But your point remains, which is you would think that the judiciary could exercise some discretion. Unfortunately, their hands are probably tied to under this administration. It all falls under this administration.
It's a state law issue when you go after a state guardsman.
Why isn't this an international matter?
It's the governor.
Right? No, because they're coming. Oh, that's why. That's the whole point of this. Immigration is always under the federal government. That's why that law did not stand that Texas put in place to try to thwart this at the federal government.
Why can't we just support them? I mean, you're talking the D word of discretion. You're talking the D word of detention. I'm talking the D word of deportation.
If I could just add, though, if you're a judge and you're looking at a federal issue and you see the behavior of the federal government, and you do have discretion, it's to let them go. Every single thing that you see, the attitude of the federal government, what they're trying to stop Texas from doing, everywhere you look, the messaging is, let my people go. Right? I mean, that's what it is. So you're looking at that and you're thinking about precedent, you're thinking about the status of the federal government, what they're approving of, what they're not, and it is that there is no border. And it is that everyone can come in. And in a certain way, especially with the federal government suing Texas, do you want to be a federal judge who then ends up getting, appealed or reversed by the federal government, or who knows? It's just easier to say just go on, let them out. That's the least problematic when it comes to the bureaucratic agents that are helping to dissolve this.
That is an epic professional case of CYA.
I think so.
I mean, that is
I think so.
You got to really stretch that out.
So, Morgan, what's at stake here?
Well, I think you guys have had a fascinating discussion on the legal side of things. When I think about it from the political side of things, I would
Three arc
that
throwers.
Lincoln Riley's case would have been a wake-up call for this administration, that they would have said, you know what, this is going to be repeated all across the country, God forbid, and if it is, this will be
See, not now.
For American citizens and politically toxic for Biden in an election year. In fact, in this poll, Biden's approval ratings on immigration is only at 30%. So I think that they are making
Engineers,
they've made a political calculation that they
Japan.
can anger their base by taking more
Oh, I need a new recruit.
policies as it relates to immigration.
Okay, Egypt it is.
They are clearly losing independence on immigration. So why would you be willing to do that? Well, as we saw from the president's State of the Union address, they think they're going to get independence back because all they're going to talk about is January 6th and abortion.
Support.
Election day. So I think that's the political game that they're playing. Lose independence on immigration, keep the base happy, scare independence back to the Biden camp by talking about January 6th and abortion. And that's all they've been doing anyway. It certainly hasn't helped. They've been doing it for years now.
That's a good point. Yeah, can we talk about just the weekend of March 31st, the weekend of Easter? Because that's a thing now, too, with the bum rush at the border. I mean, that can be a thing, too. They're calling it a riot. Yeah, by illegals.
Yeah.
Coming up. We've seen plenty of anti-Israel protesting across the world. But where is the outrage for the hostages being held in Gaza? We'll get to
Remember when I said we had screened for colon cancer? Was that after I texted the age to screen is now 45? Because I said colon heart. Hey there. Where did you come from? Yeah, with me. You can screen at home. Just talk to your provider. We'll screen with colon heart. Do it. My way. Colon heart is a one-of-a-kind way to screen for colon cancer that's effective and non-invasive. It's for people 45 plus at average risk, not high risk. False positive or negative results may occur. Ask your provider for me. Colon heart. Type 2 diabetes, discover the Ozempic Trizone. I got power of 3. I lowered my A1C, CV risk, and lost some weight. In studies, the majority of people reached an A1C under 7 and maintained it. I'm under 7. Ozempic lowers the risk of major cardiovascular events such as stroke, heart attack, or death, in adults also with known heart disease. I'm lowering my risk. Adults lost up to 14 pounds.
Lost weight.
Ozempic isn't prohibited by diabetes. Don't share needles with pens or reuse needles. Don't take Ozempic if you or your family ever had medullary thyroid cancer or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2 or are allergic to it. Stop Ozempic and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Gallbladder problems may occur. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes. Taking Ozempic with a sulfonylurea or insulin may increase low blood sugar risk. Side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems. Living with type 2 diabetes?
Ask about the power of 3 with Ozempic.
Pain was keeping me off the game. And now I'm winning again. Blue Emus with powerful refund. Shop our expanded family of products at major online retailers.
Lactate is 100% real milk, just without the lactose. Delicious, too. Just ask my old friend Kevin. Nothing like enjoying a cold one while watching the game. Who's winning? We are, my friend. We are.
Whether you're a professional driver or just a fan, vehicle breakdowns are costly. It started tugging.
Started making some weird noises. The last thing I remember was just the engine cut out.
If your check engine light comes on tomorrow, the repair could easily cost thousands.
If the transmission hits the exhaust leak, broken axle.
But with Endurance, you could never pay out of pocket for a costly repair again.
They covered a $14,000 engine replacement.
I had a seat sensor that went out. $1,400. Endurance paid it.
We got a brand new transmission, and we never seen the repair bill. Use any certified mechanic you want. Just bring your car in, and Endurance will pay them direct. All major parts are covered. What I like about Endurance, they don't play games. There's no middleman. They're a solid company. If I didn't have Endurance, I would have paid over $7,000 out of pocket to repair my vehicle.
Something is going to break in. Make it work.
With Endurance, your car repair costs go way down, while your car's life expectancy goes way up, allowing you to drive more and pay less.
One claim alone saved me more than $4,000.
I've had 5 claims, and that is $3,500 that I've kept in my pocket.
So, who's going to pay for your next car repair? You or Endurance?
Whether you put 10,000 or 100,000 miles a year on your car, if it's less than 20 years old, Endurance has you covered with unlimited miles. Plus, your plan covers 24/7 roadside assistance anywhere in the country. Call right now to get $300 off any plan, plus a full year of our top-tier elite benefits, a $2,000 value free.
Come on.
Insurance plans come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, but you have to act now. Call 1-855-276-1563. That's 1-855-276-1563. When you can't watch, listen. Get the latest news, business, and news headlines on SiriusXM. Anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM.
We didn't do anything.
An Easter vigil at the New York historic St. Patrick's Cathedral turned chaotic over the weekend. Just watch as protesters were chanting "Free Palestine," and they tried to take over Saturday's peaceful service, proving no place is sacred. We've seen these pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel protests erupt across the country. Some of them have even been pro-Hamas. We're not sure about this one. But where is the outrage for the hostages who are still being held by the Hamas savages? As of today, 123 hostages have been released. 134 are still being held. Older women, children, young men, older men. One of them is 22-year-old Omer Neutron. He's from Long Island, New York. Was born in Plainview, little hamlet on Long Island. And he put his studies on hold to serve in the IDF in a gap year. Nurture was in a tank defending the Gaza border on October 7th when Hamas attacked. Last hour, I interviewed his parents, Omer, Nutra's mom and dad.
Omer grew up in New York. He graduated high school. He was on track to college, and he decided to take a gap year in Israel. And when he came here, he really connected very powerfully to the young people here in Israel, and he just felt that before he went back to his nice American life, he had to serve himself too, and do his share.
We are desperate to get our son back. There are 134, 133 other families that are desperate to get their children, their elderly, the young men, everybody out. And for the last 2 months, we've been hearing about negotiations and about, additional military action, but nothing has happened.
A lot of protesting over the weekend, and what Omer's dad, Ronan, told me today was, no, they don't necessarily want Benjamin Netanyahu out, as some of those protests want a new leader. What they want is somebody who can do a deal. And he literally said, this dad, if he can do a deal to get my son and the other 133 home, Netanyahu can stay. Otherwise, he's got to go.
Yeah, and making this war continue, people have been making the analogy is that if things are on fire, you don't put out part of the fire and then leave. The fire then continues. You've got to put out the fire. But getting those hostages back, it's interesting. Perhaps it would be happening if the UN and the rest of the world, when they keep saying, ceasefire now, Hamas could stop this immediately by releasing the hostages and surrendering. They have it. They're controlling this. They are continuing this fight by remaining in power and continuing to fight back. So that's where the power is. Obviously, get the hostages out if you want to make a trade. I don't know. I think you'd be safer in an Israeli jail at this point than you would in the Gaza.
But Morgan, Hamas doesn't want that.
No, of course they don't. I mean, think about the type of cowards that they are, that they purposely hide behind women and babies and children. And it is a feature, not a bug, for them to put their tunnels and their infrastructure amongst civilians so that they can capitalize and they can gain upon civilian deaths in their own population. That takes sick and depraved individuals to do that. And today's the first day that I can talk about this openly. I hosted the Israeli ambassador at Vanderbilt in Nashville, Tennessee, where I live on Thursday. Because of his security, I wasn't able to talk about it or post it until today. And this was one of the things, talking about the hostages was something that the Israeli ambassador talked about at Vanderbilt and then later in a reception that I did for him. One of the things that the ambassador told us is that they believe, and I think this has been reported before as well, but he emphasized that most of these high-value hostages that are left are likely surrounding Sinwar, who's the head of Hamas, and in other key places. And it's actually very difficult to do these hostage negotiations because Hamas has to go back to Sinwar, who doesn't want to use electronic communication, so they're trying to physically get to him. for these hostage negotiations. The other problem is, if Hamas gives up these hostages, then they know it's game over for them, right? What do they have left to fight for? But I just want to say that it's still very important to Israelis to get their hostages home. It should be just as important to this administration, to the Americans, that we get these 5 Americans home. By the way, 3 have already been killed in captivity. We have 5 left. We should be doing everything to bring them home.
What kind of a deal? I mean, I'm trying to figure this out. Emily, you've done a lot of closing arguments. It takes a deal to get to the end, and you see all those protesters. There were hundreds of thousands of people in the streets in Israel across Saturday and Sunday night. Bring them home. Bring the hostages home.
And what I know is that you strike a deal from a place of power and from a place of non-capitulation.
Not a ceasefire.
That's right.
Yeah.
And not the current place our president is occupying, which is fear of escalation and an attempt to placate everyone in the globe rather than stand.
Can I back up? What you just said is so important, because the Israelis believe the reason why they got the first 2 hostage exchange is because they had put so much military pressure on Hamas. They were killing so many of the Hamas fighters. And that's one of the reasons, they think the strongest reason why they got the first 2 hostage exchanges. And we won't get another one until we have the same type of military pressure on Hamas. And you won't get that by telling Israelis that they can't go into Rafah.
Right. So how in the world do we have this situation with the president when you look at the evolution, which we showed last hour in a montage from a year ago, even 2 years ago to today, and how he stammers and stutters and can't even really get his words out in terms of where we stand with Israel. And I don't say that to pick on his speech. I mean, he can't figure out what the message should be.
Well, first of all, Israel is prosecuting the war the way they need to. As you get closer to this, and to your point, as it gets closer to that ring of hostages, it's going to get harder. How do you make a deal? Consider your enemy's perspective. And I would urge people, I've done it on my show, read the Hamas charter, see what they stand by, what they stand for, and how far they're willing to go.
We already know that. We had a GoPro from October 7th. They kill babies and put them in ovens.
I mean, but it's who they are. And if you
Time to save it up.
more, you realize that this is really a dark situation where you're going to have to prosecute.
Catch you guys next time. All right, peace out.
As best you can before you get them to even come around at that.
That doesn't answer my question about Biden.